Hey, I hope you're doing well. It's so good to be back with you. Just starting out my day, and I don't have to scrape windows this morning. Thank goodness. It's not super warm here, but it's warm enough. It's actually cold enough, but dry enough that I didn't have to take care of those windows today. So I've been sitting with this thought of really, where do I force things in my life and don't allow the natural to happen? And let me phrase that a different way. It's really, where do I force building my life and not allowing God to then build things in my life? Where do I take control and sort of say, no, don't worry, God, you don't need to be in charge. I'm in charge. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. We just fell. So where do I turn it over to God, and where do I keep it for myself? And that's a really big challenge. I think that's a challenge for a lot of people is we as humans like to be in control. We like to be the ones to be in charge. And that's not always the best course of action. Sometimes there's a lot of wisdom in just letting go and trusting in God and trusting in the process that He's outlined for us and letting Him be in charge. More often than not, as humans, we want to be in charge. We want to be in control, and we want to own what's going on and be sort of the master, the captain of our lives, the ones who are really trying to just be in charge. And so, as I've been pondering that, I've been thinking about ways to examine my own life where how do I recognize and allow God's will over my will? And in doing that, how can I be more humble so that I can allow that to happen? Humility is not something that just comes natural. It's a virtue that we have to develop, and it's a discipline that we practice in order to become better. But it takes enough self-awareness to look at it objectively and say, yeah, I've got an ego, I'm very prideful, these are the things that I want, not necessarily the things that I think God wants, but it's what I want. It's my will, not thy will. So how in your life have you seen this play out? I'd love to hear that. When you've let go of control and you've let God take over, how's that played out in your life? What are the benefits that you've seen? In fact, let's see, let me get this back up here. Sorry about that. It probably won't stay. It is cold. But yeah, what am I doing to be able to let go of my control, trusting God's control, and just let the process happen? Not with a victim mentality, but with hey, I have a Father in heaven who loves me. I have Jesus Christ who loves me, and that through the Spirit, I can receive their guidance and I can progress. And I don't have to know exactly everything that's going to happen. But if I pay attention with sincerity and I really look, I'm going to be able to hear his voice in my life, feel his guidance, and accept it. In sitting with this thought, sifting through it, I'm fortunate enough now, oh no, to have, that was short-lived, to have enough experience where I can look back on my life and say, yeah, God was guiding me the whole time, even in my stubbornness. When I was a kid, there was this really popular poem called Footprints by Anonymous. And it, if you're not familiar with it, look it up. But it's this poem about a man or a woman having a conversation with Jesus later on in life and saying, hey, you said you'd always walk with me, and looking over my life, there are periods where there's just one set of footprints in the sand. Why did you leave me? And then Jesus smiles and says, oh, my child, the reason there was only one set of footprints in the sand during those hardest periods of your life is because that was the time that I was carrying you through that. I've seen that in my life. And I bet you've seen it too. Boy, are we grateful for Jesus. And for the times that he carried us when we couldn't carry ourselves. So relinquishing control, that's not a bad thing. Giving it to God is not a bad thing. Turning over our will to his will is not a bad thing. Sit with that. Sift through that today. I'm going to keep pondering on that one. And we'll catch up soon.